A tech avalanche. There's something you're not supposed to be able to do with your shelves. So I'm not certain overloaded shelf. It's got more stuff on it that should really have, but yeah, weird failure mode. All the top screws ripped out, all the bottom screws stayed in. So the shelf's just tipped forward. So that's why all the computers have stayed on it, except the CD32, because it was leaning on top of the 500. Oh, yeah. The wall's solid sacked, so it shouldn't be able to do that because it's all wood behind it. So I'm not sure what's gone wrong. Screws too small, maybe? But, in any case, we'll move everything off the shelves. It's a good excuse to move a few machines that we haven't looked at in a while and look at them. Oh yeah, hey, the beeb. The beeb's solid. The only thing that saved this whole shelf from not flying off the wall is a floppy holder and some optical drives. This is why it's not a bad idea to have a bit of junk hanging around stacked up, because sometimes that stack saves the bacon. Oh, piss, apparently I have to go check the mail. Alright. We're back in a jiffy. Have to go check the mail, allegedly. Oh, apparently people didn't want to wait. Things you do for the family, right? You have to go running around in the middle of the darkness looking for mail. Yes, it's 1 times mail. Okay. Let's start at the top and work our way down. First things first. Don't need to look that direction, just this direction. Oh, a lot of shit. Perhaps we should start with something a little bit more obvious. I'm going to need some workspace to get this gear down. I think first things first, we need to put a lid on the 486. She ain't much chop sitting around like this. Uncertain anyone thought about it when they were cabling this machine originally. The other way up. Oh, gods. Rich hell. Alright. Hard drives in and secure it. That cable there. Off and just hold up and go over there for now. That's the factory hard drive cable. I'm leaving the 500 in it. We're not going to take it out. There's no need. It isn't hurting anyone. Definitely looks like a 486 though, the bloody cable catastrophe inside. No, I don't. The wall's solid side. It's all wood behind it. It's not hanging off the plasterboard. So, more like screws have snapped or something else has gone wrong. So, we'll wait and see. He got so much gravity. I'd have thought putting extra hard drives in it adds weight. First of all, what's under the hood? Let's see. Number one. A trio of Dead 8800 class cards. Settle down, settle down. Break my PDA. Nah, good. It's something we could dick around with at some point for tits and pickles. The beloved iPack. Problem with the iPack, it's not really a problem, it's just a quirk of the iPack. To sync it, you need to be running specifically Office 2000 or earlier. 97 or 2000. The two that it particularly likes. So I probably need to put Office 2000 on Duality and sync it to that. Hey. Yes, it does. Battery on it's dead again. It has had a new battery fitted. But it is now failing again. Does it have Wi-Fi? No, it does not. It uses IR or serial. Remember the time frame I just mentioned of when it was current. It was expecting to be running on a P3, basically. So, yeah, Wi-Fi was a wee bit out of the question. I think that there was I don't know if it was a Wi-Fi jacket, but there was a there was a GSM jacket that went on it. That was the whole party piece. So on these eye packs, the device actually ran... Oh no, I mentioned before that I was going to hook it to Duality because it wants to use Office 2000. So the jacket I've got is the plain jacket, but you could get these with various accessories integrated into them and add functionality. And so I remember when they introduced this device, which was at a TechPack show, they were talking about a collaboration with, at the time, Vodafone, who had just been called Vodafone. The Vodafone jacket was going to be bright red and had like a Bluetooth headset that popped out of it and shit. It was pretty wild. I don't know that that deal ever came to fruition. If it did, it would have been a smartphone generations before anything else. Oh, you know what saved the Acorn? My fucking soldering line. I would love to liberate that chip and steal that for my 486. Is this machine RISC-based? Yes, this is the second processor. Okay. Second fastest processor they ever did for these. So, what's wrong with this machine? $1 million question. What's wrong with this Acorn RISC PC? Not much. The audio circuit's misbehaving and it needs a battery. That's it. That's all it needs. It's got a hard drive in it. The extra cards it's got fitted mean that it's got a internal SCSI zip drive fitted. I've got a spare 5 1/4 inch bay available. So feasibly I could actually put a 5 1/4 inch floppy drive in it and be away laughing. No, this used a big wacky fucking lithium big drum looking thing. Sort of like if you took a CR and a Vada NiCad battery and they made sweet love, this fucking thing it had was what the end result would be. Like a CR if the CR was like bloody 10mm thick and like a real crystalline like leaking coming from it. And the vapor from it leaking is what's done all the damage. It broke the VRAM module. Got any bits for one of these hanging around, Della? I need a 2 meg VRAM module for it. I'm not complaining for what I paid for this machine. Absolutely no concern at all about needing to put a few bits in it to fix it. Nah, there is no new ones. I don't even actually need like a whole new one. I just need a PCB because the actual components were fine. It was the wires that were rotten out of my factory one. Oh, for the drop-in for the battery, yeah, there is battery replacements. There's a few ways to do the battery for it. carefully flew away. My little friend. Oh, your keyboard still feels nice. Did develop a new crack. It's holding me up from getting said battery. The 50 million other computers we've been working on. It's not 2-layer, it is 4-layer. Trust me, I thought about it. The reason why we ran into issues, the wires were damaged and I was actually just trying to tag on some wires to hook it back together. I applied heat and the actual pad fell off the, off the edge connector. So it was screwed. It was doomed. Wasn't gonna be saved. But that's okay. Acorn stuff does still pop up from time to time, but it's few and far between. Main reason I haven't done anything major to try and bring it around sooner, I don't really have. Remember last night we were talking about the rules of what you consider retro, and for me it's it's the age, and it's the the age of the machine helps a lot. The history of the machine helps a lot, and my personal nostalgic factor for the machine helps a hell of a lot, and support for the machine, yeah, for sure. So in the case of the Risk PC, it's got age. That meets that. It's got some good history behind it. It's the last machine Acorn built. Support for it's a little all over the place. In England, it was a big deal. Sentimentality, I ain't got any for it. I saw one at high school once. We weren't allowed to touch it. It was the fancy computer. The teacher wouldn't let us touch it. Even though at the time it was already a 7 or 8 year old machine that had no redeeming factors at that time. But it was the one teacher who really loved his Acorn. He had a Master Compact in his classroom, and then he had this Risk PC over in the science labs. No one was allowed to touch it. I don't think I saw it turn on in the time I was at school. It's got some things that are quite cool that are going for it. One of my favourite features is the fact that, of course, the OS is in ROM, and so it doesn't matter what you do, the thing will always boot. Unless the motherboard's completely destroyed, it's going to boot. Do I have a screenshot of the OS? I'm sure we can find you one. Have you ever used a Raspberry Pi with the operating system that it shipped with, like the official Raspberry Pi operating system from back in the day, rather than a Linux derivative? It is Riscos.